When have you seen the real world hit a spoiled brat? This rich kid at my college thought his dad's money could buy him anything. Brandon's father owned half the restaurants in town and donated millions to our school. Brandon never went to class, had other students do his homework, and bragged about buying his way through everything. He drove a brand new BMW that cost more than most people's houses, parked in handicapped spots because daddy would just pay the fines, wore $1,000 shoes to kick trash cans when he was bored. But the worst part was how he treated our work-study students, kids who cleaned dorms, served food, worked campus security to pay for school. Brandon would throw parties in his room and make them clean up beer bottles and pizza boxes. One girl, Maria, worked 3 campus jobs to afford tuition. She cleaned Brandon's dorm building every Tuesday morning. He'd purposely make messes for her to find, dump full trash cans on the floor, spit gum on carpets, leave gross stuff in bathroom sinks. Maria never complained, just cleaned it up quietly and moved on. She was trying to become the first person in her family to graduate college. Then Brandon crossed a line that changed everything. It was finals week and Maria was stressed about a chemistry exam. She was mopping the hallway outside Brandon's room when he came out drunk from a party. He saw her studying flashcards while working and started laughing. "Look at this," he called to his friends. "The maid thinks she's smart enough for college." Maria kept working, trying to ignore him, but Brandon wasn't done. He grabbed her chemistry flashcards and started reading them out loud in a mocking voice. "Maybe if you spent less time pretending to study and more time cleaning, this place wouldn't be such a dump," he said, then ripped up her flashcards and threw them in her mop bucket. Maria started crying. Those cards had taken her weeks to make. She picked the soggy pieces out of the dirty water while Brandon's friends laughed. That's when campus security showed up. Not for the noise, but because someone had called in a drug complaint. Apparently Brandon's party had gotten out of hand and neighbors smelled marijuana. Officer Johnson, who Maria worked for on weekends, saw her crying over the destroyed flashcards. When he heard what happened, his face went dark. "Brandon, we need to search your room," he said. Brandon laughed and said his dad would have Johnson fired by morning. But Johnson had been campus security for 15 years and was tired of entitled kids. They found enough weed to charge Brandon with intent to distribute. Turns out he'd been selling to other students all semester. His daddy's money couldn't make felony charges disappear, but here's the twist that made it perfect. Maria wasn't just any work-study student. She was pre-med with a 4.0 GPA and had already been accepted to Harvard Medical School. She worked those jobs because she refused to take out loans. The chemistry flashcards Brandon destroyed, they were for the MCAT exam she was taking in 2 days. She'd already scored in the 99th percentile on practice tests. When the local newspaper covered Brandon's arrest, they interviewed Maria about the incident. The story went viral when people learned this maid he'd mocked was about to become a doctor. Donations poured in from strangers who wanted to help pay for her medical school. She ended up with enough scholarship money to cover everything. Brandon got expelled, lost his trust fund, and had to move back home. His dad cut him off completely, saying he was embarrassed to have raised such a worthless son. Last I heard, Brandon was working at a gas station while Maria was finishing her surgery residency. She still sends Christmas cards to Officer Johnson every year. Sometimes karma doesn't just hit back. It hits back with a medical degree.